Who'd have expected the Australian Grand Prix to be an absolute roller coaster of chaos throughout the weekend? Today we're going to talk about Max's domination, Mercedes bringing competition, and the absolute demolition that happened in Australia's Grand Prix. You're watching TDH Motorsport, and today we are here to talk all about Strayamite. Let's get into the Australian report. Max Verstappen won the Australian Grand Prix with an absolutely commanding run as he enjoyed a huge race pace advantage in Melbourne. The Red Bull driver came back after dropping a couple of places at the start but then untroubled at the front of the field, albeit a race that was dragged out over 2.5 hours with 3 red flag stoppages. The race had opened up to some drama as Verstappen had lost the lead to Mercedes' George Russell, who was ultimately forced to retire with an engine issue, but it turned out to be something of a false dawn as the world's champion's pace proved too much for the rest of the field. Verstappen breezed back to the front and opened up a lead with a race pace that was formidable even by the standards that Red Bull have already set this season. A late red flag proved tense, but Verstappen rode it out with calm control as behind him 6 cars went out in a chaotic restart. More to talk on that later. And that forced another red flag. It was an unedifying end as confusion reigned as to how the race would finish, with the FIA taking some time to reach a decision before closing on a lap behind the safety car, dragging out the inevitable conclusion with frustrating longevity. Verstappen now leads the World Championship from teammate Sergio Perez, who finished 5th after coming back from starting at the back of the grid by 15 points. Behind him, Hamilton did superbly to hold 2nd place from Alonso, who harried him to the flag, with the British driver returning Mercedes' best result of the season. Go Silver Arrows. Now talking about the drama, let's start from the 2nd red flag again. Verstappen brushed off the 2nd red flag to move to a comfortable lead as the race developed, while Hamilton held P2 and set about managing the gap back to Alonso, who was joined by the recovering Sainz and Pierre Gasly in a fight for the podium positions. But just as the order appeared to be locked in, another safety car and then another red flag was triggered when Kevin Magnussen thumped the wall exiting turn 2, lost his rear right wheel and spread debris from his Haas all over the racing line. It meant a 3rd standing start and the prospect of a 2-lap shootout on soft tires. But just a matter of seconds passed before further contact and drama as Sainz tipped fellow Spaniard Alonso into a spin in the turn 1 bottleneck. Behind, Gasly took avoiding action and collided with his own teammate Esteban Ocon as he rejoined the circuit, putting both drivers out on the spot, while Logan Sargent ran into the back of Nick De Vries and Sergio Perez, who had risen from the pit lane, and Stroll both had their own separate off-track excursions. A rolling start took the field around the checkered flag, with Verstappen crossing the line for his first victory in Australia, as Hamilton and Alonso completed the podium ahead of Sainz, Stroll, Perez and Lando Norris. However, Sainz was hit with a 5-second penalty for his clash with Alonso, promoting everyone behind him as Nico Hülkenberg took P7 from home sweet favourite Oscar Piastri, Zhou Guanyu, Yuki Tsunoda and Valtteri Bottas inheriting the final points. As F1 will now head into an almost month-long break before reconvening at the Baku City circuit, we are going to be following all of the drama that ensues after such a chaotic sequence of events. Till then, drop an emoji in the comment section that best describes the Australian GP. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to never miss out on any of the juicy topics that we're going to be covering here on TDH Motorsport. My name is Bhavni Daswani and I will see you in the next one.